The massive viewing screen of the Earth ship Pioneer displayed the approaching alien vessel. Captain Jack Thompson stood tall on the bridge, his weathered face hiding the mix of excitement and worry he felt inside. After 3 years in deep space, humans had finally made contact with intelligent life. "They're hailing us again, Captain," said Tom, the communications officer. His fingers hovered over the controls, waiting for orders. Jack nodded. "Accept the transmission." The screen flickered, and a being appeared. It had blue-tinted skin that seemed almost translucent, with 4 arms and large, dark eyes that took up most of its face. The alien wore what looked like a uniform made of shimmering material. "Greetings, Earth vessel," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Blue of the Galactic Coalition. We welcome you to this sector of space." Jack stepped forward. "I'm Captain Jack Thompson of the Earth ship Pioneer *. How is it you speak our language?" The alien made a gesture that might have been a smile. "We have been monitoring your broadcasts for decades. Your planet is of great interest to us." "We come in peace," Jack said, using the phrase that had been prepared for first contact. "We seek knowledge and friendship." There was a pause, and Jack noticed the alien seemed to be consulting with someone off-screen. When Blue turned back, there was a new intensity in those large eyes. "Your vessel's origin point has been confirmed as Earth. Is this correct?" "Yes, we launched from Earth 3 years ago." The alien's skin color shifted slightly, darkening around what passed for cheeks. "You come from the planet classified in our records as Deathworld 7. Jack frowned. "Deathworld? I don't understand." "Your planet is considered the most extreme environment known to harbor intelligent life in our charted galaxy. We had theories that life might exist there, but never expected it to achieve spaceflight." Blue leaned closer to the screen. "Our scientists will be very interested in studying you." Mike, the ship's doctor, whispered to Jack, "I don't like the sound of that." Jack nodded slightly before addressing the alien again. "We would be happy to exchange scientific information, but I assure you we are peaceful explorers." Of course," Blue said quickly. "I apologize if my words caused concern. The Coalition is a peaceful alliance of 47 spacefaring species. We wish to invite your vessel to dock at our central hub station for formal introductions." After a quick discussion with his officers, Jack agreed. The Pioneer followed the alien ship to a massive space station that gleamed like a silver snowflake against the darkness. When the airlock opened, Jack and his team were surprised to see the aliens wearing full environmental suits, despite scans showing the station's atmosphere was breathable for humans. Blue, now covered from head to toe in protective gear, approached them. "Forgive our precautions. Your ship contains elements we find challenging." "Is there something dangerous in our ship?" Jack asked, concerned. "No, not dangerous to you," Blue replied, the voice now coming through a speaker in the suit. "Your natural environment contains trace elements and bacteria that would be harmful to many Coalition species. Similarly, we must protect you from our biology." Lisa, the science officer, stepped forward. "Our scans show the air here is perfectly breathable for humans." "Yes," Blue said, with what sounded like amazement. "Your species can tolerate an astonishing range of conditions. That is why many call your kind the Immortal Ones." Jack exchanged confused looks with his crew. "Immortal? We definitely aren't immortal." Blue made a strange sound that might have been laughter. "From our perspective, you might as well be. Please, follow me to the meeting chamber. The Coalition representatives are eager to meet the humans from Deathworld 7. There is much to discuss about your unique biology." As they walked through the gleaming corridors, Jack noticed how the other aliens kept their distance, watching the humans with what seemed like a mixture of fear and fascination. Whatever these beings thought about humans, it was clear they weren't telling the whole truth yet. The meeting chamber was a large round room with soft blue light coming from the ceiling. 7 aliens sat at a curved table, each one different from the others. Jack and his team, Lisa, Mike, and Tom, stood in the center, feeling like they were on display. "These are the representatives of our 7 founding species," Blue explained, pointing to each alien in turn. They had simple names based on their colors: green, red, yellow, purple, white, gray, and orange. Green, who had 6 thin limbs and wore what looked like medical symbols, approached Jack first. "I am the Coalition's chief medical officer. Would you permit me to scan your biology?" Jack looked at Mike, who nodded. "It's safe, Captain." "Go ahead," Jack said. Green held up a small device that hummed softly. The alien's large eyes widened as it looked at the results, and a strange clicking sound came from what must have been its mouth. "Impossible," Green said. "Your body contains regenerative systems unlike anything we've documented." Mike stepped forward. "What do you mean?" "Human healing is pretty basic compared to our medical technology." The aliens all made the clicking sound at once. Red, a short creature with rough, bark-like skin, spoke next. "You misunderstand. Most species in the Coalition cannot heal at all. If I break one of my limbs, it remains broken unless surgically repaired." Lisa's scientific curiosity was now fully engaged. "You mean you can't naturally heal from injuries?" "Not in the way you do," Green explained. "Your bodies actively repair damaged tissue. You regrow skin, mend bones, and fight infections naturally. Most species evolved on worlds where any significant injury meant death, so our bodies never developed such systems." Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "That's why you called us immortal." White, who appeared to be the leader, nodded. "From our perspective, you are extraordinarily difficult to kill. Your ability to survive injury, extreme temperatures, radiation, and various toxins is frightening to some." As they talked, Jack accidentally bumped into a delicate-looking sculpture on a pedestal. It tipped over and crashed to the floor. As he reached to pick up the pieces, he cut his finger on a sharp edge. "Damn," he muttered, instinctively putting his finger in his mouth. The reaction was immediate and unexpected. Yellow fainted completely. Orange backed away so quickly it fell from its chair. The others made high-pitched sounds that might have been screams. "What's happening?" Tom asked, reaching for his sidearm. Blue raised all 4 hands in a calming gesture. "Please, remain calm. They are merely distressed by your injury." Mike looked confused. "It's just a small cut." Green, who seemed braver than the others, approached with a medical scanner. "You are bleeding, leaking your internal fluids, yet you show no distress." Jack looked at his finger where a small drop of blood had formed. It's nothing. It'll stop bleeding in a minute and be healed in a day or 2. The alien representatives stared in what could only be described as horror mixed with fascination. On most Coalition worlds, Red explained after composing itself, such an injury would be life-threatening. The fact that you consider it minor is illuminating. As Green scanned Jack's finger, the alien's voice became increasingly excited. "Remarkable. I can actually observe the clotting process happening in real time. Your body is actively sealing the wound and beginning cellular repair." White approached Jack carefully. "Captain, your Earth is classified as Deathworld 7 because it contains predators, diseases, extreme weather, natural disasters, and radiation levels that would kill most sentient species instantly. Yet humans not only survive there but thrive." "It's just home to us," Lisa said with a shrug. "And that," Yellow said, "having recovered from fainting, is what terrifies and amazes us. What kind of creatures must you be to consider such a deadly planet merely home?" The meeting continued, but Jack noticed the aliens maintained a greater distance from his team. When he saw Green frantically taking notes about his healing cut, Jack finally understood. On a galactic scale, humans weren't normal. They were biological marvels who could survive conditions that other species considered certain death. "I think," Jack whispered to Mike, We're going to need to be very careful about how we introduce the rest of humanity to the galaxy. 3 days after the first meeting, Yellow approached Jack with what seemed like nervous excitement. The alien's skin flickered between bright yellow and pale orange as it spoke. "Captain Thompson, our scientific council has made an unusual request. We wish to send a research team to Earth." Jack put down his coffee, surprised. "To Earth? I thought you considered it a dangerous death world." "We do," Yellow confirmed, "which is why this mission is both groundbreaking and terrifying for us. No Coalition species has ever willingly visited a Class 7 death world. But after seeing your crew's biology, we feel it is necessary." 2 weeks later, the Pioneer was heading back to Earth with a special attachment. A Coalition research vessel called the Seeker. It was twice the size of the human ship and filled with the most advanced environmental protection systems in the galaxy. Inside the Seeker, 5 alien scientists prepared for what they considered a suicide mission. Green led the team, with specialists Red, Purple, Gray, and a new one named Brown. "Remember," Green told the team as Earth appeared on their screens, "we are protected by our environmental suits. The humans assure us the landing zone is safe." Red made a worried clicking sound. "Their definition of safe concerns me greatly." The ships landed in a field outside a small town in the American Midwest. It was a warm back at the Coalition hub station. Purple led Jack and Lisa into a dimly lit room filled with strange crystal containers. Each one glowed with a soft internal light, illuminating what looked like ancient scrolls and artifacts. "This is our historical archive," Purple explained, moving with the careful precision of someone handling irreplaceable items. "I am the keeper of the Coalition's shared memories." Lisa looked around with wonder. "These must be thousands of years old." "The oldest is from nearly 20,000 of your Earth years ago," Purple confirmed, "which is why what I am about to show you is so disturbing." The alien touched a control panel, and a large crystal in the center of the room lit up. A 3-dimensional image appeared above it, showing what was clearly a human figure standing among a group of much smaller aliens. Jack stepped closer. "That's a human." "Yes," Purple said. "From our oldest records, they described visitors who came from beyond our known worlds. Beings who were giants to us, with incredible strength and the ability to survive wounds that instantly killed our ancestors." Purple changed the display to show ancient writing with rough drawings. "These texts tell of the unkillable ones who could breathe toxic air, drink water that would poison our kind, and heal from injuries that should have been fatal." Lisa's scientific mind was racing. How is this possible? Humans haven't had space travel technology until recently. "That is the mystery," Purple agreed. "Our records indicate these encounters happened on multiple worlds, long before your people had the means to reach the stars on your own." Purple showed them more images, ancient drawings of humans walking unprotected on worlds that would kill most species, surviving radiation levels that would be lethal to Coalition members, and healing from wounds that the aliens could not recover from. "We believe these were mythological figures," Purple said. "Exaggerations passed down through generations, until we met your crew." Jack frowned. "Are you suggesting humans were taken from Earth by some other species?" "It is the only explanation that fits the evidence," Purple replied. "The physical descriptions in our oldest texts exactly match modern humans, too precise to be coincidence." Lisa suddenly made a connection. Earth has similar stories. Ancient myths about gods who visited from the sky, or humans who traveled to other worlds. We always assumed they were just stories. Purple's skin darkened with excitement. "Can you share these accounts?" Lisa pulled out her tablet and searched through Earth's mythology databases. Here, stories from every ancient culture described humans being taken to the stars by advanced beings. Many returned with knowledge they couldn't possibly have had. Jack felt a chill. "You think some advanced species was abducting humans for study thousands of years ago?" taking them to different worlds to see how they would react. It appears that way, Purple confirmed. The timing matches our records. Approximately 12,000 of your years ago, the visits stopped completely. Our ancestors assumed the unkillable ones had finally met something that could kill them. Jack looked at the ancient images again, or whoever was moving them around the galaxy stopped doing it. The question is who, Lisa said, and why. Purple changed the display again to show a strange symbol that appeared in multiple records. This mark was associated with the beings who brought humans to other worlds. We have never identified the species it belongs to. Jack studied the complex geometric pattern. Have you shown this to other human ships? You are the first humans to make contact with the Coalition in modern times, Purple said. Lisa's eyes widened. So whoever was studying us thousands of years ago never came back. Perhaps, Purple suggested, they learned everything they needed to know, or perhaps they discovered something about humans that made them decide to stay away. Jack looked at the ancient human figures surrounded by alien witnesses. He couldn't help but wonder what these long-ago people had experienced. Taken from their homes, transported across the stars, and placed in environments where their natural human resilience made them seem like gods to the aliens they encountered. There's one more thing, Purple said quietly. In many of these accounts, the humans are referred to as the children of death, beings who evolved on a world so deadly that they had become something new, something that could not be killed by normal means. Immortal Deathworlders, Lisa whispered. White waited for Jack and his crew in what the aliens called the Grand Chamber. It was a massive room with walls that seemed to be made of living crystal, shifting colors in slow waves. The Coalition's High Commander sat on an elevated platform, flanked by representatives of all 47 member species. Captain Thompson, White said, voice echoing in the large space. We have called this special gathering to reveal what we call the shocking truth. Jack glanced at his team, all of them now wearing formal uniforms for the occasion. We're honored, but a bit confused. What truth are we talking about? White gestured to a large display screen that lowered from the ceiling. Green has prepared a detailed analysis of human biology compared to all known sentient species. The results are illuminating. Green stepped forward, looking more comfortable around the humans than when they first met. I have compiled data from our examinations and historical records. This is why we call humans immortal. The screen lit up with a comparison chart. It showed healing times for various injuries across different species. A broken bone, Green explained, pointing to the first row. For humans, 6 to 8 weeks for natural healing. For every other species in the Coalition, never. Without medical intervention, we would remain broken forever. Lisa studied the chart with growing amazement as Green continued. A deep cut. For humans, about 10 days to close and heal. For us, fatal without immediate medical care, as our bodies cannot stop blood loss naturally. Jack shook his head. But we're not immortal. We definitely die. By your standards, yes, White agreed. By ours, you might as well be gods. Your bodies actively fight to stay alive in ways ours simply cannot. Green switched to a new display showing internal diagrams of various alien species compared to humans. Most Coalition species evolved in environments where any significant injury meant death, so our bodies invested energy in prevention rather than repair. Thick protective layers, redundant organs, or extreme caution became our survival strategies. While humans, red added from the side, evolved on a world filled with predators, diseases, and dangers. Your bodies developed the ability to actively repair themselves, to fight back against damage and illness. Mike studied the medical data closely, so it's not that we're actually immortal. It's that, from your perspective, our natural healing abilities seem magical. Precisely, White said. The truth that shocked our scientists is how differently our species approach survival. We avoid danger at all costs because we cannot recover from it. Humans embrace risk because your bodies can often repair the damage. Green highlighted several examples on the screen. A human child falls from a height that would shatter our bones, yet stands up and continues playing. A human adult cuts their skin and treats it as a minor inconvenience. A human breathes air that contains particles that would kill us, swims in water filled with microorganisms, and eats foods containing compounds toxic to most species. The chamber fell silent as the aliens and humans considered this fundamental difference between their species. "When I was a child," Jack said finally, "I fell from a tree and broke my arm. I cried, got a cast, and 6 weeks later, I was climbing the same tree again." Several aliens made distressed sounds at this story. "That is why we call you immortal," White said. "Not because you never die, but because you can survive what would kill us 100 times over." Lisa had been working on her tablet during the presentation. "I've compiled our medical database into a format your systems can read. It includes detailed information on human healing processes." Green's skin brightened with excitement. "This will revolutionize our medical science." "There is one more thing," White said, rising from the seat. "We have detected strange energy readings from Earth's system. They match patterns in our ancient records associated with the beings who once transported humans across the galaxy." Jack's pulse quickened. "You think they're coming back?" "We do not know," White admitted. "But if the ones who once studied both our kinds are returning after thousands of years, we must be prepared. The Coalition would very much like humans to stand with us, Immortal Deathworlders." Tom leaned toward Jack and whispered, "Did we just go from being terrifying space monsters to the galaxy's guard dogs?" Jack suppressed a smile. "I think that's exactly what just happened." The alarm klaxons woke Jack from a deep sleep. Red warning lights flashed in his quarters on the Coalition hub station. He quickly pulled on his uniform and ran toward the command center, passing aliens in various states of panic. "What's happening?" he demanded as he entered the control room. Blue turned all 4 arms in frantic gestures. "A micrometeoroid swarm has hit the station. The outer hull on level 7 is breached. We have decompression, temperature fluctuations, and radiation leaks." Jack assessed the situation on the monitors. "How many people are trapped?" 23 Coalition members were working in those sections, White said, voice tight with distress. "But we cannot reach them. The conditions are lethal." Jack studied the readings. The affected areas had lost about 30% of their air pressure, the temperature had dropped to near freezing, and radiation levels were elevated but not immediately fatal, at least not to humans. "We can reach them," Jack said firmly. "My crew can handle those conditions." The aliens stared at him in shock. "Impossible," Green protested. "Even with our emergency suits, no one could survive those conditions long enough to perform a rescue." Jack tapped his comm unit. "Lisa, Mike, Tom, emergency rescue gear, now. Meet me at Access Point 7 Alpha." White moved closer. "You do not understand. Those areas are experiencing multiple Category 1 environmental failures. By our standards, they are death zones." "By our standards," Jack replied. "They're just really uncomfortable. We'll need oxygen masks, cold weather gear, and radiation badges. But we can get your people out." 20 minutes later, Jack and his team were at the access door to level 7. Each human wore an oxygen mask and insulated clothing. Simple protection by Earth standards, but the aliens watched in disbelief as the humans prepared to enter what they considered a guaranteed death sentence. "The first group should be about 50 meters down the main corridor," Lisa said, checking her tablet. "The life signs are weak but stable." "Remember," Mike warned, "these species don't tolerate environmental stress well. They'll be in shock just from the conditions, even without injuries." Jack nodded. "Quick and careful. Let's move." They opened the access door and moved into the damaged section. The air was thin and cold, and their radiation badges registered elevated but manageable levels. For humans who had trained for space emergencies, These were survivable conditions. They found the first group of aliens huddled in an emergency shelter, their bodies showing signs of severe stress just from the environmental changes. Though conscious, none could move on their own. "We'll carry them," Jack ordered, carefully lifting a trembling blue species alien. The poor creature seemed amazed to see them. "How are you alive?" it whispered weakly. "We're humans," Lisa said simply, as if that explained everything. And in a way, it did. For the next 2 hours, the 4-person human team made multiple trips into the damaged sections, carrying out coalition members who could not survive the conditions for more than minutes. The aliens watched in awe as the humans moved through what they considered lethal environments, working despite the cold, thin air and radiation that would kill most species. After the last rescue, Jack and his team were examined in the medical bay. They showed minor radiation exposure, slight hypothermia, and elevated stress markers, all easily treatable. "You saved 23 lives today," White said, approaching Jack's bed. "Our people would have died waiting for the environmental systems to be repaired." "Anyone would have done the same," Jack replied. "No," White said firmly. "No one else could have. What you consider minor discomfort is lethal to us. You walked into death to save strangers." News of the rescue spread quickly through the station. Aliens who had once feared the humans now looked at them with new respect. Recordings of the humans carrying coalition members through death zones were viewed with a mixture of horror and amazement. That evening, as Jack's team recovered, Green approached them with a formal document. "The Coalition Council has taken an unprecedented vote," the medical officer explained. "We would like to establish a formal alliance with Earth, with a special designation for humans." Jack raised an eyebrow. "What kind of designation?" "Guardian species," Green replied. "Today you prove that what we feared about humans, your ability to survive conditions we cannot, is actually your greatest gift to the galaxy. The very traits that make you Deathworlders also make you uniquely qualified to protect the rest of us." Tom grinned. "So we went from scary space monsters to heroic space monsters." "No," Green corrected. "You became what the ancient texts always called you, the Immortal Ones, those who walk through death to protect life." 1 year after first contact, Jack stood on a platform in the United Nations Grand Assembly Hall. Representatives from Earth's nations filled the chamber, along with delegates from all 47 coalition species. It was a historic day, the formal signing of the Human Coalition Alliance Treaty. Jack, now officially Earth's first ambassador to the coalition, watched as White approached the podium. The alien commander looked more comfortable on Earth now, though still wore a thin protective suit. "People of Earth," White began, voice amplified through the translation system. "1 year ago, we called you Deathworlders out of fear. Today, we call you allies out of respect and gratitude." Across the room, screens displayed images from the past year. Human rescue teams helping after a coalition transport crash, human doctors working with alien medical staff, and human engineers reinforcing structures on fragile alien worlds. "The universe is vast and often dangerous," White continued. "Most species evolved in gentle environments and cannot withstand harsh conditions. Humans evolved on what we considered a deadly world, and it made you stronger than we ever imagined possible." Jack thought about how much had changed. Earth now had training centers in every major country, teaching humans how to work safely around the more fragile coalition species. Thousands had volunteered for the new Galactic Emergency Response Teams, humans specially trained to handle disasters in environments too dangerous for other species. "The treaty we signed today creates a new classification," White explained. "Earth is no longer considered Deathworld 7. It is now designated as the first and only Crucible World, acknowledging that the harsh conditions that forged humanity also created your greatest strengths." Lisa, now head of the Human Coalition Scientific Exchange, stood beside Jack. She had been working with Green to create new medical treatments based on human healing processes, Already they had developed techniques to help coalition species recover from injuries that were once considered fatal. The heart of this treaty, White said, gesturing to the document on the table, is the Guardian Species Protocol. Humans will serve as protectors, emergency responders, and explorers in environments too dangerous for other coalition members. In exchange, the coalition will share technology, scientific knowledge, and access to the stars. Jack remembered the first days after the station rescue, when frightened aliens had started looking at humans with hope instead of fear. It had been a turning point, the moment when everyone realized that what made humans different was actually valuable. Mike had established the first medical training program, teaching coalition doctors about human resilience while learning the delicate physiology of alien species. Tom had joined the diplomatic corps, helping smooth cultural misunderstandings between humans and their new galactic neighbors. After the formal signing, Jack found himself standing with Blue, the first alien he had ever met. "Did you know?" Jack asked. "When we first made contact, did you suspect how things would turn out?" Blue's skin rippled with what Jack now recognized as amusement. "We expected to find terrifying monsters from a death world. Instead, we found protectors who could walk through fire to save others. We're still the same creatures you feared," Jack pointed out. "Yes," Blue agreed, "but fear comes from not understanding. Now we understand. Humans do not just survive. You help others survive too." Later that evening, Purple approached Jack with an ancient tablet. "We finally completed the translation of our oldest record about humans. It was a question posed by the first aliens who encountered your kind thousands of years ago." "What did it say?" Jack asked. Purple held up the tablet, showing strange symbols beside the English translation. "What terrors could exist on a world that would produce beings who view recovery from mortal wounds as routine?" Jack smiled. "And now you have your answer." "Indeed," Purple replied. "The terrors of Earth-forged creatures who could face the terrors of the universe without fear. The ancient ones who took your ancestors for study could not have imagined this outcome." As the celebration continued around them, Jack looked out at the gathering of humans and aliens working together. The humans who had once been seen as terrifying immortal Deathworlders were now valued precisely because of those traits. "It's strange," Jack said to no one in particular. "The very things that made us feared now make us needed." White overheard and approached. "That is the shocking truth we discovered. What we feared most about you is what we needed most from you. Beings who could walk through death to protect life. The Immortal Deathworlders, guardians of the galaxy."